Hello guys and welcome to the first episode for Search for the Merch. In this series, I review plushies, figurines, and other miscellaneous merchandise from 1 to 10, while at the same time showing you how much they cost and how you can find them. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Sword Kirby Plush to promote Kirby Clash Team Deluxe, made by SK Japan. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Kirby Clash Team Deluxe was a 3DS game that was free to play, and was a game that was based on an already existing Kirby sub-game in Kirby Planet Mobile Bat called Kirby Clash Team. Even if Kirby Clash Team Deluxe was forgotten after its release, it still got an enhanced port on the Nintendo Switch called Super Kirby Clash. And similar to that game, Super Kirby Clash was mostly forgotten. Yes, people still talk about it, but it was mostly remembered as a pretty basic free-to-play Kirby game with microtransactions. But even if the game was mostly remembered as that, it also had some cool things when it got released. One of them being merchandise, because this game, even for being a Kirby spin-off game, got in plenty of merchandise. One of the merchandises in particular being a Kirby Plus set made by SK Japan. This Kirby Plus set features Sword Kirby, Hammer Kirby, Mage Kirby, and Dr. Kirby, all using the designs from Super Kirby Clash. And of course, because these plushies are made by SK Japan, you can already tell these plushies are high quality from their stock images alone. But even if these plushies are really high quality, and you probably want to buy them right now, there is one particular problem, being the fact that these plushies barely appear on any stores, or at least stores that I know of, making this a pretty rare plush set overall. But luckily, I have one of the plushies in particular, being the Sword Kirby Plush. And because it is the only Kirby Plush I ordered from the set, I think that I should review it to document it much more on the internet. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Okay, now with the history of this plant done with, we can actually now get into the plush itself. But before we get into the unique features of this plush, we should first start talking about the basics. In particular, I am talking about the body, which looks pretty good. It's very soft and also looks accurate to Kirby. But even if it is a good body, it still is pretty basic and still looks like many other SK Japan Kirby plushes. So yeah, even if this body is good, it's definitely not unique. Because the main reason why this plush is considered to be that unique isn't for the body, but instead for the equipment. The equipment is where this plush really starts to get interesting and more better. The first equipment we're going to be talking about is the helmet. And I gotta say, this helmet looks great. SK Japan didn't really seep out on any single detail for this helmet. If you look at this helmet and compare it to an official render of Kirby Clash Team Deluxe, Sword Kirby, it looks almost identical, which shows how good SK Japan can make a plus. But we're not done yet, because the next equipment we're gonna be looking at is the sword. And for the back of the sword, it looks really good as well. Kind of. Okay, I'm not saying that the sword looks bad. Just like I said earlier, it looks good. But comparing it to the helmet, it definitely looks less detailed. I really wish that SK Japan made the swords look much more detailed, but it still looks pretty decent either way. Even if the sword does not look as detailed as the helmet, this still is a really good plus. And in my honest opinion, it's probably one of my favorite Kirby plushies I have in my collection, besides a few. So yeah, overall, I actually really like this plus, and I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10. Almost a perfect plus overall. But now with the review of the plus done with, we can finally talk about the rarity of this plus and how much it will cost. Okay, let's begin with the rarity of this plus. And just like what I said earlier, this plus is really, really, really rare. I have only seen this plus once, and it was on eBay for around, I think, $27, and plus tax, it was close to $30. But besides that listing, that was pretty much about it. Looking at the plus itself, it's not really that hard to buy, but the main problem, that is hard to find. But I actually have seen some other plushies from the same set being available on Japanese websites. So even if the plus is hard to find, there is a possibility it could be available on Japanese websites similar to the other plushies in this set. Okay, guys, that's it for this episode of Search for the Nerds. I had a lot of fun making this episode, and I hope I see you guys next time in the next episode. So like and subscribe, and bye.